What's up? What's up, guys? Okay, I am going to make my college football playoff predictions, and I am extremely excited for us. Let me just make sure that the live stream is working. The camera is a little bit dusty, but that is okay. See the light that I have here. Does it turn on so you can see me? Nope, the light bulb is out. My hair is a mess, but that's okay. Let's just get right into this. So I am going to share my screen. We have the college football playoff bracket right now. I'm going to go through each game and I am going to predict a winner. So, for those of you who don't know, college football is by far my favorite sport in the world. I follow every single sport, but literally Saturdays from waking up at 9 a.m. Eastern time for game day up until literally the West Coast games are done at 1, 2 a.m. I am sitting in front of my TV watching every single game I can. So, playoffs this year, first time we have a 12-team playoff. It is really interesting. There are definitely problems with how Arizona State and Boise State are getting that first round bye. So, moving forward, it's probably going to be a lot of reseeding, but let's just get into this. So, the first game talking about is Clemson, Texas. And hear me out. This can actually be the trap game for Texas. If I was Sarkeesian, I would be thinking to myself, okay, of these, who do we not want to play? Obviously, not Ohio State, Tennessee, but you knew you weren't going to be playing them. Clemson is the team that I think is very capable of stopping that Texas run. Will Quinn Ewers be able to pass the ball, and how will that offense be able to be fluid? Because previously, Texas hasn't been able to do any of that. You look at literally the last 6 games, they have struggled in 5 of them. Almost lost to Vanderbilt. There's 2 against Georgia. Didn't play well against Kentucky. You could argue that they didn't even really play well against A&M. So there's going to be an upset in the first round. We don't know where it's going to be. Someone is going to lose that is not supposed to be losing. And here, Dabo Sweeney, I know we have his thing where he's like, okay, I don't use the transfer portal. And you think that times are kind of changing where Dabo is not the coach that he used to be. Playoff experience matters. We have seen that with Sarkeesian multiple times where him just fumbling the bag with that. This is not the matchup that Texas wants. And as I said, we know there's going to be one upset somewhere. So this one is the one where I am actually like I'm legitimately picking Clemson for us. And if you're Arizona State, you're thinking about this as like, okay, this is a dream for us to be able to get Clemson. But also, then again, Arizona State and Texas are very similar teams to an extent in the way that they're built. But how will the Clemson defensive line hold up against a running back like Cam Scadaboo? They have not seen anyone that is at his skill level. I mean, there is some argument, just some, that Cam Scadaboo may be the best running back in the country. I know Ashton Genty way ahead of everyone else. Genty deserves the Heisman. I don't care about Travis Hunter. I think that just the fact that he is on pace to break the all-time rushing record, it's a shame that the college football analysts, the ones who are actually voting on the Heisman, are not looking at this the way that the fans are, because you look at least from like what I'm seeing on social media, the fans want GT. So here, but let's just get into Tennessee, Ohio State. So, Ohio State, that brutal loss to Michigan. Now, 3 in a row losing. It's been what, since 2019 since Ohio State has took down their brother, or what used to be their little brother from up north, because Ohio State literally went a decade plus without losing to Michigan. So this is going to be interesting because here's where you have the SEC team from down south coming up to what can potentially be a cold game up in Columbus. How will Tennessee be able to handle that? It's going to be an interesting dynamic. So, what about these teams? I think on paper, Ohio State is one of, if not the best teams in the nation. I am willing to fully say that. You look at how they played the rest of the season. Sure, there were some games that they struggled, but they very easily could have been Oregon. That game could have went their way, and then just like that, it would have been Ohio State Oregon rematch in the Big Ten title game, and who knows how that would have gone. Tennessee themselves, they have Tennessee has been up and down. What Josh Heupel has been able to build the last couple years. I mean, they're in a great spot moving forward. But like I said, on paper, I know they're the 8th seed. Ohio State is, in my mind, one of the 3 best teams in the country. So I am going with Ohio State as my pick for this one. Then we got SMU Penn State. SMU is lucky that they were able to have that second half resurgence against Clemson, because if they didn't, ooh, we would be looking at Bama as the 11th seed without a doubt. Those Bama fans at first watching SMU Clemson were like, okay, if SMU wins, we are definitely in the playoffs, so let's root for SMU. But then when we saw Clemson blowing out SMU, those fans were switching. It was kind of like, okay, now we need Clemson to absolutely beat down. And that was the worst case scenario. SMU comes screaming back in the start late of the third quarter, going into the fourth. Oh my God, Clemson winning on what was that, the 56-yard field goal? Whew. Okay, but you have a team from Dallas going up to Happy Valley. Oh, that is going to present challenges, major challenges, because we don't know the weather. It is a noon game though. So it says 6 p.m. on the screen. That's because I'm currently in Europe right now. So that's the time zone. It's a noon game in Happy Valley. Penn State, will James Franklin ever be able to win that big game? Will he ever be able to do it? Because, okay, he has been starting to get there, but what is he all time against AP top 10 teams? Like 1 and 12? Like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. But Penn State played well against Oregon. They really did. There was one point where it started to become 2, maybe it was getting towards nearly even 3 possession against Oregon. You were looking at that and you were like, oh, yeah, it's way over. Oregon's about to blow them out. But then that Penn State offense took that game by its throat. Drew Allard, you got to give it up to him for an incredible performance. And it makes you think their offense is able to go. And what defense has SMU faced? Or, excuse me, what offense has SMU faced for their defense? Who are the best teams that they've played? SMU does not have any top 25 wins. The only other team that does not have any top 25 wins in this college football playoff is Texas. So, here also, though, concerning for Penn State, well, you could say, okay, it was Oregon. That Penn State defense looked brutal. But I'm going Penn State. They're winning this game. Then we got Indiana, Notre Dame. And here it's the in-state rivalry, South Bend against Bloomington. I am really looking forward to this. Also, because I am a Georgia fan, go Dogs, so I will be watching this happily, seeing, okay, who are we going to be going up against? And people aren't giving Indiana enough credit. I know that they have played one quote unquote elite team, and it was Ohio State, and that game did not go well for them. But everybody else, they have been blowing out of the water. I mean, against which was crazy against Purdue. I know Purdue's the worst team in the Big Ten, but 66 nothing right after they lost to Ohio State. You gotta give them credit. You really gotta give Kirk Cignetti and that Indiana team credit for bouncing back against Purdue the way they did after that Ohio State loss. But then again, after Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, which was definitely the most embarrassing loss of any team in college football this year, they have bounced back and have legitimately they've been playing like they've been a top 3 team in college football since then. They are dominant on both sides of the ball. And again, it just goes back to I can't confidently pick Indiana with the only good team that they've played. They looked like they were in shambles. Also, that Notre Dame and South Bend, that home atmosphere, oh, that's gonna be fun for a Friday night game. Yeah, give me the Irish. So then here we go. Arizona State, Clemson. I would be looking forward to this one. Arizona State is a sneaky team. Not only Cam Scaboo, they're the youngest team in the college football playoffs. One thing that makes you think, though, is will some of these players be using this as potential leverage? That they were so good with Arizona State, could they be entering the transfer portal right when Arizona State's out in hopes to jump to a bigger program, which can develop them for future aspirations? It's just something interesting to think about. This is a way that Clemson could be sneaky again to the semifinals. However, this Clemson team, okay, yeah, I think that they just match up incredibly well against Texas, and why they can pull off the upset there. Their magic is going to end. Arizona State to the college football playoff semifinals. Imagine if somebody told you that at the beginning of the year, especially when Arizona State was projected to come in dead last in the Big 12, that they would be in the college football playoff semifinals. Wow. Then we have the Rose Bowl game. Ohio State, Oregon, a rematch of the regular season. And this Rose Bowl game just feels right because you have Big Ten against old Pac 12. And this would be an incredible rematch. It's hard to beat the same team twice, especially in college football. People were saying that leading up to the Georgia Texas SEC championship game. Georgia proved everyone wrong. They did beat Texas again. Not going to happen this time. Oregon, while they have been technically the most dominant team in college football, and they are fast. Dylan Gabriel, I mean, the most experienced quarterback in college football history. I mean, literally, he has the most starts of anyone ever. So they strike like lightning. They are unbelievably quick. But so is Ohio State. I mean, Oregon is not as good as what everyone is saying. You watch their games, like look at the game that just happened against Wisconsin. Look against Penn State. On paper, the level between Penn State and Oregon is really, really wide. Just on paper. Just on paper. That game, these games for Oregon, they're closer than they should be. Give me the Buckeyes to go to the semifinal. So this is what the top half of the bracket is looking like right now. And then we got to the bottom half. And let's go. Penn State, Boise. Oh my God. I am dreaming of a Boise miracle run. Oh, and I am so tempted to put them into the semifinal just because of my love for Ashton Genty. Deserves the Heisman. And also, this Penn State team going back to I know, like on paper, Penn State in this game, I'm sure will be favored. My guess is the line would probably be like 6.5 in favor of Penn State. Goes back to King James Franklin win the big game. And I know it sounds so dumb that we're continuing to mention this every single time. But Franklin continues to just he's not when is the last time you Penn State has gone into a game and you have been able to confidently be like, okay, this Penn State team is legitimately a national championship contender. However, though, oh my God, I want to pick Boise so badly. I want to pick Boise in this so badly. This is the one where I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. The reason why I gotta go Penn State is you look at Boise's recent results. I mean, that game against Wyoming, 2-10 Wyoming. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Needing to go all the way to the very end. Boise didn't play well against UNLV too. And if you're Penn State, and every team has been doing this, they have been crashing literally 8 and 9 in the box to stop the run from Genty. If Penn State is able to do that successfully in the ways that Mountain West teams haven't been able to, have we been able to see Boise's air attack actually go out? I don't think so. Penn State to the college football playoff semifinals. Oh my God. Arizona State, Ohio State, Penn State. This is a wacky semifinal. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love college football. Okay. So now let's go to Notre Dame, Georgia. Go dogs, go dogs. Okay, I may be a biased Georgia fan in this one. I may be crazy biased. If Georgia wins the national championship, this is the greatest coaching job in, I would argue, the last 10 years. It definitely would blow away any coaching job that Kirby Smart has done before. That fake punt, oh my God, the play call. Kirby has outdone himself because our offense this entire year, first off, we can't catch passes. We have the most drop passes in college football. It feels like 3, 4 times a game, Arian Smith alone is just dropping one that potentially could be a first down. That play happened on third down, and then all of a sudden it's fourth down. We got to punt the ball away or something that just kills a drive. This offense has been incompetent at times. Carson Beck does not look like the Beck of last year. Our defense can't tackle. It's hard to watch sometimes. So it's a matter of which Georgia team is going to show up. Really, I have no idea. If we show up the way that we played, I don't want to say against Tech, but if it's the team that when we played Ole Miss, when we played Kentucky, how in the world do we win that nail biter against Kentucky? I mean, that was embarrassing. Then it's very possible that Notre Dame can, I don't want to say run away with this. I don't think that the talent is, I think, I still think the talent gap between them is large, but if the Georgia team doesn't show up, I mean, I could see Notre Dame winning this by 2 touchdowns. If the Georgia team that I know that we saw against Texas twice, that we saw against Tennessee shows up, Georgia can run away with this game. I'm maybe a little biased, but also when it comes to winning in the trenches, Georgia's been somewhat doing that this year, stopping the interior run. If you go to the outside, that's where it hasn't been good. Go dogs into the semifinal. Whew. Oh my God. Arizona State, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia. This semifinal, honestly, I don't think is going to go well. This Ohio State team, as I said, they were the team I picked to win the college football playoff national championship coming into the season. I think that when you match these two teams up, Arizona State, I know they're crazy hot. Just getting lucky with the Clemson upset pick that I had. Ohio State is going to the national championship game. And I don't even think that I would need to get into the analysis much for a Georgia Penn State matchup. I am not concerned as a Georgia fan whatsoever for Penn State. Gunnar Stockton, if Carson Beck comes back, if it's even like Rashada for all I care, I mean, I'm confident enough that I can't see this Penn State team going to a national championship game. Georgia, Ohio State, rematch of the 2023 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. You know, Noah Ruggles, clock hits midnight. It goes wide left. And then Georgia gets sent, or I guess technically wide right if you're looking at it from the other vantage point. And then Georgia goes to the national championship game. Oh my God, in our win, 65-7 against TCU. How beautiful is it? That's not going to repeat for the Dogs. Give me Ohio State as the 2025 college football playoff national champion. Ohio State won it in 2014, the first time that we had the expanded playoffs. And the next time we have expanded playoffs, Ohio State's going to take it again. How many points will be scored in the college football play? I ain't doing that. Submit my bracket. This is my final bracket. Clemson over Texas, Ohio State over Tennessee, Penn State over SMU, Notre Dame over Indiana, Arizona State over Clemson, Ohio State over Oregon, Penn State over Boise State, Georgia over Notre Dame, Ohio State over Arizona State, Georgia over Penn State, Ohio State over Georgia, the 8th seed, OSU, getting it done. 2025 national champions. Submit that bracket. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, and look, they have good odds. Let's go to what their ESPN bet odds are right now. Okay, let me just change the screen. How do I change the screen so I could show you the bet odds? Now you could just see me. Bear with me for a moment. Here we go. Look at this. See, many people are looking at this who may be tuning into college football play for the first time and being like, why are you picking an eighth seed to win it all? Ohio State's got the fourth best odds. Let me tell you, I don't know why Georgia's only plus 400. I mean, they have definitely the easiest uh, chance to be able to go and win a national championship just based off their bracket. I mean, the fact that Oregon, as the one seed, gets screwed and has to play potentially Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia, run through all three of them to win a national championship. That is brutal. Let's look at these odds. Oregon plus 350. I could see that. Texas plus 350. That seems a little high for me because okay, you get by Clemson, which I know they are going to be heavy favorites, even though Clemson over Texas was my upset pick. Then actually, I guess it kind of makes sense too. Then you get Arizona State in the quarterfinals, and then really you just gotta get through. I mean, if you do with the hardest schedule, Oregon or Ohio State, and then Georgia. So I could see that. Penn State plus 650. Okay, that's fair. Notre Dame plus 850. That's also fair. And wow, so it's saying really there's only six teams with a shot at winning the national championship. You can look at Tennessee plus 2,500, Indiana plus 4,000, Arizona State plus 5,000, and Boise plus 6,000 despite getting the bye. That's what's wrong with the playoff right now. But that's where we're at. FCS championship winner. I mean, these two teams, these three, incredible. Montana State, where'd it go? South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Yeah. All right. That's it. Those are my 2025 college football playoff predictions. All right. Peace.